And now, good mic work commentaries and Greg Morgan presents the Winged Eagle Podcast.
Can you guys hear me now? Sorry. Happy Saturday, everyone. Boy, I cannot wait to tell you guys the day that I've had so far. So I just opened up the first minute and a half of the podcast here with my mute button on. A minute ago, before we went live, I had the wrong stream pulled up. I had tomorrow's WrestleDream live reaction, and I went live on that. And then I'm looking over here. I'm like, where are you guys? How come nobody's here? And then I realized I went live on tomorrow's video, so I had to delete that. That means tonight when I get home, I'm going to have to repost that link for tomorrow. So if you did happen to see tomorrow's WrestleDream live reaction link, it's gone because I accidentally just went live now, and then I had to backtrack and go live on this one. Then I left my mic muted, and guess what? I'm sick. I'm under the weather. I got sick 2 days ago. I just took a COVID test about an hour ago. Luckily, I'm negative, so I just have some sort of a head cold going on, so I apologize for that. I went live on the wrong stream, and I came up here with my mute button on. So sorry about that. You guys can hear me now, right? I'm sick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. We're all up here. We're ready to go. As I was saying, the few sentences that I said that you guys couldn't hear me, we were talking about the possibility of Edge turning up tomorrow at WrestleDream. We got a big weekend here. WrestleDream, No Mercy tonight, Collision tonight, big weekend of festivities. And today in the podcast, we're going to talk about those Edge possibilities. The rumors really picking up steam in the last 24 hours because Edge last night was removed from the Smackdown intro. Apparently, he's also been removed from that internal roster listing under the miscellaneous category with other injured or semi-part-time talent. His contract apparently is up at midnight tonight, and AEW has announced that Christian versus Darby Allin tomorrow will be the main event of WrestleDream. So when you add all of that together, in my mind anyway, that equals we are going to see Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, tomorrow at WrestleDream. What's he going to do? Is he going to help Christian? Is he going to cost Christian the title? So is he going to be enemies with Christian, or is he going to align with Christian? What's his name going to be? What music is he going to use? Rob Zombie? Never Gonna Stop? That would be sweet. How is Edge going to come in as a heel tomorrow night to close the show? He's going to get cheered and get a reaction regardless of what he does. So do you really think he's going to come in, help Christian retain the title, and it's going to be Edge, Christian, and Luchasaurus forming some three-way partnership? I doubt it. I don't know what to make of this whole situation, but one of the things we're going to do in today's podcast is predict WrestleDream. We're going to be doing that at the end. We're also going to be talking about, in addition to Edge, we're going to talk about the latest on Jade Cargill. She has reported to the WWE PC, and plans are in place for her. We're going to talk about our friend Matt Riddle. Some of that TMZ airport footage, or the airport footage, came out today, was released by TMZ. He looked like a complete idiot, and it's not good. We'll talk about last night's Smackdown, the return of Austin Theory. We had, the Charlotte and Bayley match. We had the Street Profits finally, getting that killer instinct that Bobby Lashley's been trying so hard to instill in them. We had the slap heard around the world from Mia Yim to Jimmy Uso. All that was fun. We'll also talk a little bit about this week's Dynamite because I was not here on Wednesday to watch Dynamite with you guys or review it. Now, we're not going to talk about the whole show because it's pretty much going to be obsolete with the pay-per-view tomorrow, but Who is the masked man? They closed down closed the show on Wednesday. We had a retribution-style angle and beatdown on Jay White at the end of Dynamite. A lot of speculation as to who is under the hood, what the status of Adam Cole's injury is. Is this kayfabe? Is this legit or whatever? We don't really know, but there's a lot surrounding Cole and MJF and what this whole entire storyline might lead to, and we got some pretty good stuff on Wednesday night regarding that. Other than that, like I said, we'll just preview tonight's Collision. We will preview No Mercy, and we will predict the entire WrestleDream card. That's kind of what's on tap today. And like I said, I want to apologize ahead of time for me being under the weather. I came down with something like 2 nights ago when I was driving home from work. I was like, my throat is scratchy, and now I got the watery eyes. I got the runny nose. I'm coughing. So about an hour ago, I took a COVID test. Luckily, I'm negative, so I don't have COVID, but I'm under the weather. Hopefully that will not cause too much of a problem for me or you guys for this podcast or tomorrow's WrestleDream live reaction. That's right. We're going to be here tomorrow watching the entire pay-per-view together, or at least I'm going to watch it and tell you what's going on in my head as I'm watching it. The problem is I accidentally just went live on that video because I set the wrong one, and now I have to repost that link tonight. So just keep a lookout for that. We will be here watching WrestleDream tomorrow, but that link probably will not be back up on my channel until tonight, because as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm off to work. So that is what's going on. Sorry for the muted microphone. Sorry for the botched start, but we are here ready to rock now on a Saturday wingy, and it is great to see you guys. Let me cruise to the chat. Say hello to everyone who is here, and let's start with channel members. Thank you. We have Red Raven Rucker in the house, Tatanani, Jay Lambo. We got Ian Dunn. We have the Juliet. We have Isaac in the house. Zane G is here as well. Let me see who else. We got Sonic Plays. We got Zach right on. We got How Wheezy, Red Raven Rucker. I think I just got you. All of my channel members want to make sure I hit you guys first as I'm seeing all of these comments. We can't hear you, idiot. Turn on your fucking microphone. Thank you for that. Paul Hanley, good to see you as well. We have Max Pokebruh, and we have Isaac, 13-month member. Hey, Greg, should Jade Cargill go on an undefeated streak like she did in AEW when she debuts, or would that be too repetitive? I don't know. I thought about doing a winning streak with her just the other day. I'm like, what did she go in AEW? 60-0, right? Or she's 60-2. Do I have that right? 60 wins, 2 losses to Statlander, right? So I think that she should go 61-0 in WWE. Maybe they do that in NXT. It just depends on how they debut her. There's a lot of, you've got Becky Lynch walking around with the NXT title right now. You talk about a way to show up in the company, come in, beat Becky Lynch. Remember when Becky Lynch turned back up at SummerSlam and beat Bianca Belair in like 5 seconds? I was at that show, by the way. Zane, you were there, weren't you? One of you was there. We were all there. So Becky's done that to Bianca. I think it would be pretty funny if Becky did like an open challenge and Jade came out and beat her the same way like Statlander beat Jade in AEW, and then Jade is the NXT champion, and then you just put her on like a 65-0 win streak, then maybe have her drop the belt and go to the main roster. I don't know what the right answer for Jade is. Apparently, WWE has massive plans for her. Looks like she's going to keep her name. They talked about her last night on Smackdown. They've been publicly announcing her signing on social media, just like I said they should do. Who had that called correctly? This guy. I said, forget about debuting her in the Rumble or bringing her in as a surprise. Give her the free agent treatment. Publicly announce her signing on social media. I even said, do the photo op with Triple H. They didn't do that, but they did announce her signing. They seem to be making her a big deal. Apparently, she already has, they have creative plans for her in place. She claims she already knows what brand she's going to be on, but she's not telling us. So they do have some plans for her. She had the great video of her walking into the PC the other day, last week or whatever, and get in there, get working, get training. She's already started, and I'm excited to see what they do with her. But we will be talking about her more in a minute there, Isaac. But thank you so much for that. Let me see. Yeah, Zane, you were there. You were there with me. Tomas Aridia, good to see you, my friend. My homie Thomas is here, dropping in the very generous $9.99. Hey, Greg, was at Smackdown last night, and I am going to Raw on Monday. Fun show. Blew my voice out cheering for Cena and LA Knight. Jimmy is not a singles guy. Match with Anderson was pathetic. That was a weird match to have. I think Jay is better than Jimmy in terms of what they can do in the ring. I kind of agree with you there, but I do like Jimmy. He can still probably find his way to being a credible singles wrestler by the time we get to WrestleMania, but that match with Anderson last night was a little bit weird. Gallows is nursing an injury, so Anderson was all by himself, but it was all worth it when Jimmy got the shit slapped out of him by Mia Yim at the end of that. That was very good. I'm glad that you went to Smackdown last night. Steve and Larson were there too, friends of the channel, and they've been on a West Coast swing. They were in Ontario for Raw on Monday, up near you guys for SmackDown last night. They ran a SmackDown Raw Super Show in the desert last weekend, which I think drew close to like 10,000 fans. So WWE's on their West Coast swing, and they are doing pretty good. I'm glad you had a great time last night, Tomas. Also good to see Big J, Gilbert, Mike Rouse. We got Ben Espinoza, Toro Hill. We have, who else did I miss earlier? Danny. We got Chris Sanchez. Awesome to see you guys. Atomic Cody, Denny Downbad. We've got Devin Rice. Right on. All y'all hanging out. Old Dirty Sausage. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I'm always happy to have Old Dirty Sausage in the chat. It's always a plus. Right on, Stephen Harris, RJB, Stephen Jacobson, Ratnick, Jose Lopez, all sorts of y'all in here. Good to see you. Happy Saturday to you. Do me a favor, thumbs up button. Please hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers, although we have kind of put the brakes on. We were just running hard there. 800 new subscribers a month all year long. We finally have slowed down a little bit, so we are trying to get to that 40,000 subscriber mark. We are 500 and change away. We should get there pretty soon, but not in a week like we were doing for all of 2023. So let's try to make sure that it doesn't take us until 2024 to get to that 40,000. So tell your friends, tell your moms, and spread the word about good mic work. And make sure you subscribe. And thank you, as always, for being here. Let's talk about what is on tap for this weekend. Like I said, tonight, Collision and No Mercy. We will be previewing both of those shows. WrestleDream is tomorrow. Excuse me. And my plan is to be up here and live react to the whole show. If for any reason I wake up tomorrow and I feel like complete dog shit, which I don't think I will, I'm going to sleep this off tonight. Maybe we might change tomorrow's stream to a review only, but I doubt it. I should be up here to hang out, drink some frosty cold ones, and watch WrestleDream with all y'all. That's the plan for tomorrow. And most likely, health permitting, I will be up here on Monday as well after Raw to talk about WrestleDream Fallout and to discuss Monday Night Raw. Anyway, let's start off with our friend Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland. All signs are pointing to him showing up at WrestleDream tomorrow. Most people are considering it to be a confirmation because if he is not there, that's going to be some disappointing shit. Here's what's transpired in just the last day alone. WWE has removed Edge from the SmackDown intro. WWE has removed Edge from their internal roster list, the miscellaneous category that has injured wrestlers or part-time wrestlers on there. He has been removed from that. The word is his contract is up at midnight tonight, making him a free agent tomorrow. And AEW has announced that Christian and Darby Allin will be the main event of WrestleDream. So if Edge is not coming in, they are setting fans up for a monumental disappointment. Both companies are, WWE and AEW. It's like they're working together to piss us off. I don't think that's the case. I feel pretty confident that Edge will be showing up in AEW, but what will he be doing? If Christian and Darby is the main event, clearly Edge is going to be the last thing we see at WrestleDream. Is that the beginning of a new chapter that Tony Khan was talking about? Does he want to try to squeeze 3 good years out of Edge and make him a top star, a world champion, to try to maybe fill the void that CM Punk left behind? Is that his plans for Edge? Or does it involve something else? So when Edge shows up tonight or tomorrow, if he does, it's going to be interesting to see what the plans appear for him to be. Is he just going to be working with Christian, or are there bigger plans at play here? And I put up a Twitter poll. Let's check the results so far. Put up a Twitter poll about an hour or so ago, asking you guys that if Edge does show up at WrestleDream, does he help Christian or does he screw Christian over? 60% of you believe he will help Christian. 40% believe he will be screwed. So it could go either way. It's going to be really hard to have Edge come in as a heel, to close the show and make this big monumental debut in AEW, something that's really going to set the wrestling world on fire in terms of the buzz and attention that's going to create. Coming in as a heel is going to be interesting to close the show in that way, to get a whole bunch of fans booing this man when Edge is extremely beloved. He went out on an extremely high note in WWE, babyface, hometown victory, top of the world, heartfelt promo afterwards. It would be hard for him to come in now in AEW and be a heel right out of the gate. I almost think like he would have to come in and then turn heel. Maybe come in and make it seem like he's opposed to Christian, just so they can absorb that big babyface reaction. And then maybe on Dynamite is when he reveals that he's actually aligned himself with Christian. So it depends on when he comes out. If the match is completely over, if Darby and Christian are allowed to do their thing, have their match, have their winner, and then in the commotion after the match, if there's a beatdown or something like that, or a turn, is Luchasaurus going to turn on Christian? Are they going to have a falling out? Christian has really been pretty abusive towards Luchasaurus. And then if Edge comes in, Lucha's really going to feel like the odd dinosaur out, and he might want to turn on Christian. So you just don't know when Edge is going to show up, if he's going to show up, and what part of the match he makes his appearance in. Again, what is he going to be called? What music is he going to use? And are we even going to know that tomorrow? He might come out musicless. He might come out nameless. He might run through the crowd, hop the barricade, hit the ring, start scrapping, and then the announcers are just going to have to say, "That's Adam Copeland," or whatever. And then on Dynamite, we get the reveal of what his name is going to be, what his gimmick is going to be like. I mean, not gimmick. We know he's pretty much going to be Edge. He just can't use that name. And if he's going to use any theme music. Now, we all know how Tony Khan loves to pony up for the music, right? So I think that provided any of Edge's past themes are licensable and available, he needs to use one of those. Either the Metalingus one or Rob Zombie. Never gonna stop me. I love that one. That's what they should get, is the Rob Zombie theme. So I think tomorrow is likely that we will see Edge, and it makes a lot of sense that we would see him. Tony Khan has been dropping a lot of hints. We really didn't know we still don't really know about what he's talking about in these in these vignettes and these advertisements for WrestleDream, about one chapter closing and another one opening. A lot of speculation about New Japan. The New Japan purchase has been debunked. Nobody believes that's going to be a thing. But with AEW talent holding the Ring of Honor titles, it seems like they're trying to position themselves to look attractive to a TV deal or a streaming deal like Max. Tony Khan really wants to be on Max. There's a lot of tributes apparently planned tomorrow for Antonio Inoki as well. So we don't really know what this exact chapter that Tony Khan is referring to really is. But when you think about what happened at All In and the madness that took place backstage, then they had to turn around a week later and do a pay-per-view. They did. It was a good pay-per-view, but we didn't see a whole lot of surprises because I think it was just about getting through the show. So they just gave us good wrestling. That was it. Then it was Grand Slam. We talked about Edge for Grand Slam. Nobody really thought Edge would be showing up at Grand Slam, but we all thought we might get some sort of a surprise. We've seen surprises at these Grand Slams before. Tony Khan has really liked to hit fans in the face hard with his shiny new toys, and we didn't get any of that at All In, All Out, or Grand Slam. So maybe it's all been being held off, and he's been waiting for this specific show, this brand new pay-per-view, WrestleDream, as the perfect place to debut a megastar or to unveil a big free agent signing. And that's a hell of a turn of events. Just a couple of months ago, Jade was in AEW, Edge was in WWE, and now we're switching. And these are the type of things we used to see back in the day during the WWE and WCW war that I loved so much. So it's really great for a fan like me to see people jump ship and change brands. I love that. I don't want that to go away. I don't know why these tribal fans insist on ruining the fun for themselves by being so, black and white and, choosing one side so staunchly and just, ruining, just sucking the fun out of everything. I want to see this girl go here and this guy go there. I love all of that stuff. So the fact that Jade is in WWE is awesome. The fact that Edge is probably going to be coming to AEW is also awesome. And this is what wrestling is all about. So I'm really excited to see what Edge does, what his role is going to be there. Even a few weeks ago, I mentioned that, Edge, I feel like could be a similar character to CM Punk. Just way more well-liked backstage. That whole thing Punk was doing with the AEW title and the X and all of that, I can see Edge playing a role like that. I think he'd be good at it. I don't know if that's what Edge is there to do, but there was, I, for one, am surprised that when Edge came back in 2020, he never won the WWE title. I thought he was going to win it. And maybe he would have had COVID not happened and WWE had their big Roman Reigns plans and Bloodline, all of that stuff that happened, and then unifying the titles with Brock. Had something like that not gone down, then maybe Edge could have won the title. But I'm really surprised that he did not. So coming to AEW might be a personal thing for Edge. He wants to go work with Christian one more time, have one more run somewhere else together outside of WWE. Christian, I'm sure, has been talking to him heavily. Months ago, Christian was photographed with the WWE referee, the John, what's his name? Nicholas's dad, whatever his name is. They were photographed, like having lunch together. What was that about? So, like, was that a business meeting to discuss, hey, what's going on with Edge and maybe we can get him there? I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. But Edge coming in and having some sort of an alliance or a feud with Christian and AEW is going to make me very happy because I watched Edge and Christian right from the very beginning. I watched these guys in dark matches in the WWE before they even had names and gimmicks. So to see them here at this stage of their lives, late 40s, pushing 50, one more run together to do something exciting in another wrestling promotion, why not? Why not? I'm all for it. Plus, Edge and Christian, despite their age, are both still very excellent in the ring. They are capable. It's not like they're in there and they're just parading these dinosaurs around who could barely move. These guys can still go at their age, which is phenomenal. Look at what Rey Mysterio did last night. How old is Rey Mysterio now? 71? And he's in the ring wrestling like it's 1997 in there. He's been doing that stem cell shit on his body, and it's rejuvenated him. It's added years to his career. And Edge and Christian in AEW is just a really interesting thought to me. But it's going to be interesting in terms of like what their name, if they're going to be a pair, like if they're going to be a team, how are you going to call them Adam and Christian? We know them as Edge and Christian. That's what the fans are used to calling them. I'm not saying we can't deprogram ourselves and get used to calling Edge something else, but it's easier to call them Edge and Christian. So that makes me feel like they might be feuding because they're not going to be a unit, a team. And if they're a team, you got to refer to them together. And it might be hard for the fans to say Adam and Christian instead of Edge and Christian. That might factor in to Tony Khan's creative. Maybe it's better to have them at odds first while we establish Adam's new name. And maybe it's just Adam, all caps, Adam. But we already have an Adam. Roderick Strong has been screaming Adam every single week on TV. Adam! So do you want to bring just an Adam in there, one name, Adam? That's it? Do you give him a tongue-in-cheek name? Do you do a play off of Edge? Do you call him Ledge? Do you call him Corner? What do you call him? I'm curious what that is, what the plans are. Do you call him JD for Judgment Day and let him come in and try to be that goth heel character that he briefly was last year in WWE? What do you do? What do you guys think? What would you call him? All I know is I would have him come out to Rob Zombie. That's all I know for sure. I'm really not sure what the right answer is for his name. I personally believe that it probably should just be Adam Copeland to try to brand a new name, a new wrestler gimmick name onto a wrestler that already has a Hall of Fame career and 20 plus years in the business, and all that stuff would be really strange to do that. So I think it's probably best just to treat him like a Kevin Nash or a Scott Hall situation. Obviously, these guys can't come in and be Diesel. They didn't call Razor and Diesel unleaded and Blade. They called them Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. So that's probably the best thing to do when it comes to Adam Copeland. Excuse me for 2 seconds. 1, 2. There we go. I'm back. Just do a quick little blow my nose there. Thank you for that. So the possibilities are endless was the whole point of that in terms of what they could do with Edge, what he's going to do when he gets there, who he's going to team with, who he's going to feud with, what he's going to do if he does show up in the main event. Is he attacking somebody, costing somebody the title? He could do anything, and I'm open to all possibilities. So let me know in the chat as we go through here what you think the best way for Edge to come in, how you would debut him, and what kind of storyline direction you think he could go in that would be interesting for us as the fans. That's what I'm curious from you guys. So let me know what you guys think. Let's cruise here to the chat real quick, answer some supers, and then we will start talking about Jade Cargill, who we all love here. Who's in here? Spaz? Spaz, is that you I see? Look in my eyes, who do I see? Spaz talking about No Mercy. Thanks for the $10, dude. NXT No Mercy preview available now. Still time to check it out before the show. And then NXT Rewind. And then NXT Rewind returns tomorrow, looking back at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable on all vid and pod platforms. Check that out. NXT Rewind is a great idea because there's a lot about those early days of NXT that I barely remember that was really, really good stuff. So check out Spaz. He's got 10 more a little bit later. It's time to scrap the idea of surprise debut. I'm no fan of Jade, but the way... Why are you no fan of Jade? You're no fan of Bianca either. What's wrong with you? These women are amazing. What the fuck's wrong? I'm no fan of Jade, but the way they are building her so far in advance is something I'd love to see if a Starks or Statlander came over. No, this is for Jade. Jade is the absolute blueprint of what WWE wants. Nobody should be surprised about how Jade is being treated by WWE. She should be treated this way. And props to her for not going with them originally, going to AEW, getting exposure, and WWE took notice. They've got her now, and I feel like they're going to do the thing where they're like, haha, AEW, we're going to show you how it's done. We're going to show you how to make this woman a super duper star. You put her on a good winning streak, and she was dominant, but you had her on Rampage every fucking week. We're going to show you how to make a star, just like we showed you how you were supposed to book Cody. So I think it could be a lot of fun, but I don't think a surprise debut really is going to be that much of a surprise now because she's already been announced. But in terms of when she comes out, I guess it would be like her joining the company isn't a surprise. We know she's there. I guess now it's just her debut that could be a surprise. So that's when it's going to be up to WWE. If they want to announce her debut and just start her slow. Jade Cargill debuts next week and it's just an enhancement match. Or, you got these NXT breakout tournament things that they do. And like I said, you got Becky walking around there with the NXT title. What better way if you're WWE? Forget what you want or what the fans want or what I want. If WWE wants to launch Jade in the biggest way possible, I mean, aside from her going in and beating Rhea Ripley or something, which I would not do, I think this would be the next best thing to have her come in, beat a Hall of Fame main event women's wrestler in Becky Lynch and taking a championship from her, giving her the NXT title. And she could probably rack up 61 wins pretty quick to where she could have that done and even have maybe the belt dropped by the time she gets to WrestleMania next year. We don't know. It's up to them. And I'm not going to know how to judge it until we see it, because there's a very good chance that when Jade debuts, I'm going to consider it a letdown or a disappointment, or I would have maybe done it better, or, oh, I wish they would have done this. That's all very possible. But in terms of the way they're building her so far in advance, this is exactly what you need to do. So this is their investment. What the fuck do you think they're paying for? If you're going to spend a bunch of money to sign a talent, you have to see a return on that investment. You have to push her as a big deal because you're paying her big deal money. You're not going to pay her main event money and have her work on, the undercard of NXT, for the next 6 months. She's going to come in as a big deal, provided whatever she's doing in the PC is considered ready for the big time. She's been spoken very highly of so far in the PC. That was going to be our next topic. She reported to the Performance Center last week, video of her walking through that very dangerous NXT parking lot. I don't know what she was thinking, but she made it to the front door. We've seen a few photos of her in the ring working out. Shawn Michaels did an interview, spoke very highly of her. So far, everybody's very happy with what they've seen from her in the short few days that she's been there. So I think provided, because here's the thing, even though they're spending a bunch of money on Jade, they want to make sure they get a return on that investment. They're not going to throw her to the lions if she's not ready. If whatever she's doing in the PC, they don't feel is ready for SmackDown and Raw, then she won't be on SmackDown and Raw until she's ready. But I feel like she's going to be. I feel like they will get her the polish that she needs because we did see improvements in Jade's ring work as her time went by in AEW. And that was just in AEW. Now she's in WWE. State-of-the-art facility, state-of-the-art coaches. You can't find better training anywhere. She's going to get polished and polished nicely here. And I have high hopes. for Jade Cargill. But in terms of, where she debuts, I guess we just have to wait and see. I don't really know I don't have like a dog in the fight per se. Like, I don't feel like she should debut this way and not this way. Because I could see it working both ways. I could see building up debut vignettes for her, Jade Cargill coming soon, that type of thing, like they did with who's coming forever? Veer's coming forever. So maybe a Jade will be coming forever before she actually debuts, or they bring her in and as a surprise and she like beats Becky and wins a title. It just depends how it's executed, before I can really determine if it's going to fail or succeed or not. Again, another thing about Jade, it does look like she's going to keep her name, which is great. I did not believe they needed to change her name. They shouldn't. When you got Candice LeRae and Chelsea Green and Natalya Neidhart and Shayna Baszler, you got plenty of women in the company using their names. Jade has already been established with her name. So why would you change it? Because if you're going to change hers, why wouldn't you change Candice and Chelsea's? Why would you leave them alone and change Jade's? So Jade Cargill, remaining Jade Cargill, looks likely because they did mention her on Smackdown last night, right? Talked about the signing and all of that. So that makes me feel like she'll keep her name. They have to make sure, and this is crazy to say this, it's just like we talked about with Edge a minute ago. I think it's very important and very crucial that Jade Cargill has kick-ass theme music. Remember that last entrance she did? It was a Double or Nothing. Pretty Girls Dance Like This or whatever that shit. That was a great entrance. So if they come up with something fun for her that's entertaining, and then she's got music that like hits and that fits her and that sounds good, like all of that is part of the presentation. Yes, she's got an unbelievable size and presence and look to her. She literally is the exact blueprint of anybody you'd want in wrestling, male or female. So she has that. So make sure you get and we've already seen the spectacular gear she's worn in AEW, so I'm sure that will also carry over to WWE. But the music is also a big thing. So I hope that whatever they're creating for her or whatever music is being made for her, it's not generic. It's something that they're taking seriously. Maybe even Jade has input on this. I hope that it's not something that they phoned in or thought about at the end. Oh yeah, we need music for you too. No. You got to make this whole thing needs to be one big package, and make sure that's ready to go before you debut this on TV. That way you can maximize the return on that investment. But if you're paying this woman to be a big deal, she needs to be a big deal. She's getting paid big deal money. She needs to be a big deal. And then at that point, then let her sink or swim. Like put her in there. If they feel like she's ready for a big surprise debut, like beating Becky Lynch, well, now she's beat Becky Lynch. She's the NXT champion. She's now in a position to prove herself or to not prove herself. Sink or swim. Sometimes that's just what you got to do with people. But I don't think that she should be rushed into anything until she's ready and the trainers and the coaches that are working with her give her the green light. She's ready for prime time. Let's rock and roll. Other than that, it's really not up to me or you or anybody else to determine when she's ready, what she can do, what she's capable of. It's not our job. It's their job. So I'm going to let them do that and not be judgmental. Shelton Benjamin is also reportedly being heavily talked about inside of AEW. A lot of people want him hired there. And Shelton Benjamin, I talked about during the when we were talking about the releases, is that he's definitely somebody that I feel like should go to AEW, not to be featured and win championships and be in main events and or anything like that, because AEW already has a very difficult time with securing enough TV time for their people. And if Shelton came in, he definitely feels like somebody that could kind of get lost in the shuffle, but it's his experience that he brings. He still has gas in the tank, and he's got a fountain of knowledge to dispense. Shelton Benjamin would be a great person to have in your locker room. Have him on TV every now and then, put him in a role like Billy Gunn is in, and then just have his presence there as someone who wrestlers can talk to. This would be a guy that I would recommend for a backstage role, agent, producer, coach, something like that. If AEW ever decides to just start their own performance center and do something similar to what WWE is doing, I think Shelton Benjamin would be an excellent coach for something like that. So when I heard that, I'm like, yes, when his 90 days is up, absolutely bring in Shelton Benjamin. I'm not in favor of AEW or WWE bringing in everybody. If one company releases a whole bunch of people, you don't have to sign everybody, but sign the ones who could have value. Shelton could have value, I would absolutely bring him in. So hopefully by the end of the year, we will see Shelton Benjamin in AEW. Excuse me. We got to talk about our good friend, Matthew. Oh, Riddle. Oh, Matthew Riddle. Well, we all know Matt Riddle was released about a week or so ago from WWE. He was the last of the big batch of releases that they let go, and they waited and saved him until the end. And most people believe that he probably would not have been released if he wasn't such a fucking goddamn moron. And he is. Now, he had the big incident at JFK Airport. I think that was on September 10th or September 11th of this month, where he accused a police officer of sexual assault. And we read the reports that he was belligerent, and there was some sort of investigation where he was pulled aside or whatnot. But it sounded like he was, made a scene. Or we heard about the belligerent passenger coming off the plane, and we didn't really know what was going on. But this is an airport; everything is filmed, and the footage that was released today didn't really appear to be airport footage. It appeared to be somebody's phone capturing him, but he was basically in the ticket area, or not the, right where you board the plane, coming off the plane, getting on the plane, not sure, but it looked like he was on the microphone, like on the ticket agent's microphone, yelling into it. He's screaming, he's cursing, he's having a great time. None of this does not look like he's angry. It looks like he's fucked up and acting a fool in the middle of the airport in front of hundreds of witnesses. Zero sympathy for this guy. None. Fuck him. I mean, what the hell? How can a human being be this stupid? And unfortunately, we've seen situations like this in wrestling before where people just cannot get out of their own way, where guys can't stop stepping on their own dick. The only thing standing between them and fame and fortune and living the life they've always dreamed of is to not be an idiot. And that is too hard for Matt Riddle. Nope, I got to be allowed to be an idiot. I have to. Otherwise, I can't fucking function. So when you see this, you put this together with all of the past shitty behavior of Matt Riddle, the accusations, just the flakiness, the drugs, and constantly being under the influence of something. And then when we see this footage from him just causing a ruckus in the airport, like what is going on in his head? Even if he is high as shit, even if he did eat an edible the size of a hockey puck or had a bunch of drinks on the plane, what is making you behave to that degree? Wasn't he coming back from India from that big show? So it's not like he had a bunch of drugs on him, because you wouldn't be able to fly overseas with that shit. They'd catch you and throw you in jail. So I find it hard to believe that he took a whole bunch of drugs over to India with him. But whatever he was on was enough to make him act like a psycho in the airport, and WWE released him. And again, like, no sympathy for him. When you see this footage, all it does is make you mad. All it does is make you mad. I'm like, this kid really could have had the world at his fingertips. I was very high on Matt Riddle, no pun intended. Always really liked him, thought he had potential. It was just the only thing that was ever really going to hold him back was his personal issues and his attitude and things like that. And he's not even like, his attitude isn't even one that's like CM Punk, where he's just abrasive, he's aggressive, nobody likes him because he's a dick and an asshole. Riddle's just a dumbass stoner. He's like a completely different side of this. He's not disliked because people really view him as I guess maybe some people do, but people don't really view him as an asshole. I think they view him as a stupid person. And he proved it here, because when you piss away a career like he had, a career that could have easily involved WrestleMania main events, world championships, all of this stuff was achievable for Riddle and WWE. All of it. And he chose being a drunk, high, belligerent mess over having a Hall of Fame career. No sympathy for someone like that. And like I said, when he was released, I feel like in a lot of these cases, when you see these Matt Hardys, these Jeff Hardys, even Kurt Angles, maybe Jeff Jarrett's to a degree, Scott Hall's, Jake Roberts, it usually gets worse before it gets better. Shawn Michaels, same thing. we've heard so many of these stories where it literally feels like they have to find out that rock bottom has a basement. And once they get there, that's when the light bulb goes off. Maybe it's time to stop being fucking stupid. And unfortunately, I don't think Matt Riddle's there yet. And if he winds up landing another job, if AEW brings him in, he's going to have even less discipline in AEW than he does in WWE. And I don't know if that's something Tony Khan wants to do. It's a shame. Matt Riddle is a great talent. If I'm a promoter, I want to sign him, but I only want to sign a healthy, sober, mentally stable Matt Riddle who isn't a fucking sex pest. If you can give me that guy, then hell yeah, bring him in. Otherwise, I'm not touching this dude if I'm Tony Khan or anybody. But I feel like there's so much interest for Riddle. He's going to get indie signings. He's going to make money. He's going to have bookings. And he's probably, nothing in his life is going to, at least right now in the short term, I don't believe, is going to be enough to make him want to personally turn things around for himself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's got to get worse. I feel like this, I know this is terrible to say, but I feel like he needs to be arrested or something. You know, he needs to be arrested for public intoxication or arrested for drunk driving, provided he doesn't injure anybody, or have some sort of run-in with the law involving drugs that puts him on probation, that, you know, makes him get drug tested by a probie officer every 30 days, and then if he fucks that up, he goes to jail. Something like that has got to happen to him before whatever light bulb is in his head, if it's even strong enough to be lit, lights up and makes him realize, okay, time to stop this. Lost my family, multiple accusations from women. I've had tumultuous relationships, sexual, with all sorts of different people. A lot of that is not good. I have been suspended by WWE a couple times. I made an ass of myself out in the airport. And, you know, all of these things, he needs to have like that personal realization and embarrassment of how he acted. And usually those are the beginning steps of people really, really turning themselves around. And it's all got to be a mental thing with him. Like, people like DDP, I think, could help people like Scott Hall, Jake Roberts, Kurt Angle. Somebody like DDP can't really help Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is too young and he's just too wild. He reminds me of that football player, Johnny Manziel. Same type of thing, right? You know, this kid gets signed, but he just can't stop partying. That's more important to him. And in young people, sometimes that's the case. When you're young and you're an athlete and you're good looking and you get all sorts of attention, you know, Matt Riddle probably doesn't have to try very hard, you know, to get some women, if you know what I mean. He's a good looking guy. You know, if he didn't have all that ugly Me Too shit attached to him, you know, women would probably flock to him. You know, most of them find him gross because he is gross. So I think with Riddle, he's young enough to where I'm going to hold out a glimmer of hope that in a few years after a couple, and let's just all hope that Matt Riddle, who I still believe is going to hit rock bottom, I still believe Matt Riddle will get better before he gets worse. So if I'm right about that, let's hope that that doesn't involve him injuring anybody else. Nobody else gets harmed in his path of partying. Let's hope that he doesn't harm himself. Let's hope that he doesn't break any laws. Let's hope he doesn't abuse any women or anything like that. And he has just some, you know, personal rock bottom moment that finally wakes him up. Because a lot of times we've seen this in rock and roll. We've seen it in wrestling. A lot of times it takes that. Everybody has that one moment. Every story like this we've heard. Dark side of the ring, wrestlers who have been lucky enough to clean themselves up. They always talk about this one specific moment that made them realize it's time to grow up. And I'm hoping that Matt Riddle has that same realization at some point. But I feel like we're dealing with somebody here who's a little bit dumber than most people. Dana White hates this man, which is fine because I hate Dana White. Dana White's a piece of shit. So I don't really care who Dana White hates. But Dana White has had nothing but terrible things to say about Matt Riddle ever since he was fired from UFC. Dana White has always considered Matt Riddle to be an idiot. He was able to last 5 years in WWE. I think he lasted almost exactly 5 years in the company. So he was there for half of a decade. So he was able to keep himself, you know, clean enough and straight enough to maintain employment. But that was about it. And WWE kind of lost, I think, confidence in him as a main eventer, they didn't really want to push him in that way because they saw the things that were going on with him and the personal issues he was having. So when we saw this footage that TMZ released of the airport incident, and I'm sure there's more, this was just a small, few seconds of video of him just acting crazy in the terminal. Who knows what else exists? But when you see that, it's literally impossible to have an ounce of sympathy for the man. Fuck him. Get your shit together or get the fuck out of our lives, because you're an embarrassment, Riddle. And I liked you. I still like you. I wish you weren't like this, but you are. And I feel like as many times as we've seen this recurring pattern in wrestling, in sports, in rock and roll, in any sort of form of entertainment where a famous person has problems, acting in Hollywood, same thing. A lot of times you just got to not only hit that rock bottom, you got to go to rock bottom's basement. And then once you're there, you can't go any further down unless you die. So it's either die or go up. Two choices. And a lot of wrestlers, made that realization themselves. Shawn Michaels fell asleep, pilled out of his mind, drooling all over himself with his kids sleeping on him. And that was the day. He was like, if I continue this road, I will die. So it's either that or clean myself up and appreciate the family that I have. And he did. And look at Shawn, never look back. Never look back. So who knows what it takes? Some people, you take religion. Some people, it just takes a good woman. Kurt Angle is a good example of that. I think his wife really helped turn him around. Same thing with Matt Hardy. I'm not sure if Matt Hardy would be where he is if it weren't for his crazy-ass wife, Rebby, who probably beats him every night when he misbehaves. So, sometimes it just takes that. Some people need religion. Some people just need a good wife, good support partner. Others just need support from fans, or, some people just decide themselves that they're ready to stop that shit. And they phone up DDP. Hey, can I come live with you for 3 months and clean my life up? You got it, boss. Come on over. So let's hope that one day Riddle sees brighter skies, because the skies over him right now are really dark, really dark. So many people aren't wishing Riddle the best. I have no sympathy for Riddle. I'm kind of pissed at Riddle. I fully agree with anybody who thinks he's a butt-fuck idiot, because he is. But I wish him well. I wish him well. I don't want to see anybody throw their lives away. And I feel that anybody, most people can be rehabilitated. So hopefully that's the case for Riddle, but Greg ain't holding his breath. What about you guys? Let's talk about SmackDown real quick, but let me cruise through the chat. Wow, Rey Mysterio is 48 years old man out there wrestling like it's WCW Nitro. Daniel Mendola, good to see you, my friend. Any plans for a meetup for Full Gear? Yes, I'm going to be buying my tickets for Full Gear October, probably middle of the month, a couple weeks. I'll go ahead and pick up those tickets. I only think, though, me and Elizabeth are just going to drive up that day. So whatever meetups we do will probably have to be before the show. And what sucks about the forum, unlike Staples Center or Crypto.com, where there's a bunch of shit around there, really nothing around the forum and SoFi. So we got to either just meet there at the show, or maybe find a little bar or restaurant a couple miles down the road, do that. We'll work on the details this month, I promise you. But yeah, that's going to be good to see you again if you're going to that show, Daniel. And that should be a pretty interesting pay-per-view too, when Full Gear comes around. Thank you for that, Tatanani. WWE did release a little teaser vignette of what appears to be Brian Pillman Jr. sitting down watching TV, WCW Saturday Night, spliced in with some Cincinnati Bengals football footage. Come on. What else can it be? Brian Pillman Jr. If they do announce him tonight at No Mercy, that would be great. Please send me updates over on the Twitters if anything interesting does happen on No Mercy or on Collision. I don't think we're going to see Jade Cargill on No Mercy tonight. I just don't feel like, I think it's too early, but you never know. Brian Pillman Jr., however, might be a different story. It's probably cool for her to walk into the PC. Hopefully her and Brian didn't have any issues with each other, for her to walk in and see a familiar face. Hey, what's up? That's got to be fun, when you're going into the PC and you see somebody from AEW. What's up, man? Good to see you. What do you think about this place? You like it? Oh, we're going to do great here. It's got to be fun. It's got to be exciting. So hopefully Brian's happy that Jade's there. Jade's happy that Brian is there. And Brian Pillman Jr., as much as I like the kid, he will never be his dad. He just doesn't have it, but he's got the look, and it feels like they are going to be going for that Pillman vibe to him, which I like. I mean, the kid looks great with that mullet and that Pillman shirt and the look and the vest and all that. If they try to recreate that, that's kind of awesome, because I do think he's a dead ringer for his dad in terms of, a little bit of his body style and stuff. So Pillman Jr. Looks to be coming in. Let me see. Max says Adam helps Darby, then spears MJF on Dynamite. Okay, so you're thinking Adam's going right for MJF. I don't know if they're going to put Edge and MJF together right away, because I feel like MJF started something with Switchblade on Wednesday, which was really cool. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Tony Konami Karan, Corey Graves was on point with his quote, "A storm is coming," and also stated Jade Cargill is a game changer. She is. And that's the cool thing about Jade and anybody like her coming in, is like, you just start thinking about the dream matches. I know a lot of people, immediately think of her or Bianca, of course, but I think of her like Charlotte, before anything else. I'm like, have Jade beat the fuck out of Charlotte, because I'm tired of Charlotte. I ain't going to lie. So the match possibilities are like through the roof with somebody like Jade. Like, think of all these people she can work with, especially if Jade is good, if she's progressing well in the PC, coaches, trainers, management is happy with her progress and ready to get her on the main stage. I think a lot of that time in AEW, having that TV time really is going to help her and give her a level of preparation that maybe some don't have. Right now, it's going to be about polishing her in-ring work in terms of her exposure, being able to do an entrance and look great and look like $1 million. She's got a lot of that already under her belt in AEW. So it's just about completing the package. Jade is also family, the Nightmare family. That would be great if Cody at one point started a Nightmare family and Jade was in it. I love when they put women in factions. You got, let's see, you got Zelina Vega with the LWO. You got Ripley with the Judgment Day. I would love to see you got Maxine Dupree currently with Alpha Academy, but I wouldn't mind seeing Maxine jump to Imperium. You could put Bianca with Lashley and Montez, and then have Jade and the Nightmare family. It's great shit, man. Hell yeah. I'm all about it. See what else you guys are saying in here before we get on to our next thing. Rottweiler, Nia Jax is being brought back to do jobs for Jade. That would be great. If Jade ripped Nia Jax a second hole. My holes, plural. That would be great. I'd be all for that. Anyway, let's get into our next thing, because I got about an hour left before we got to sign off of here. And let's talk about last night's Smackdown briefly. Then we will finish up with AEW, since we have to predict WrestleDream. So last night, Smackdown was a pretty fun show. We did see the predicted return of LA Knight. He, of course, was sent home from SmackDown last week after testing positive for COVID. So we were hoping and feeling that most likely he would be good to go for Fastlane, since it was still 2 weeks away. The only question is whether he was going to be able to come out on SmackDown this week or not, and he was. So the Bloodline opens the show, of course, sans Roman Reigns, who's still on vacation for however long. And they talk their smack, and as Jimmy and Solo and Heyman are in the ring, Carl Anderson comes in from behind and attacks them, and he wants a match with one of them. So then we get Jimmy Uso versus Carl Anderson. Very basic match, nothing special here at all. Excuse me. Jimmy Uso won with the splash from the top, and then they beat down Carl Anderson, and as the Bloodline is leaving in the aisleway, out comes Michin, and she's looking at Jimmy, and Jimmy's like, "Yeah, what do you think about that? I just fucked up Carl Anderson." And this girl rears back, and she smacks Jimmy so hard, he fucking goes down, sells it like $1 million. The look on Heyman's face was priceless. It was one of the best little 2-second pieces of business I've seen in a long time. Really well done. Slapped the shit, just completely KO'd fucking Jimmy. Fatality, Mortal Kombat style slap. He goes down, and she runs to go check on Carl Anderson. We had Bobby Lashley on the Grayson Waller effect to talk about the Street Profits. He was very pissed at them last week. They came out and, tried to tell him that they want to learn, and he basically just tells them to prove it. He says, prove it. You want to be badasses? You want to make me believe that you're for real? Prove it to me. So then we get the big Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar U.S. title match. This, of course, right now is a match among friends that I believe will eventually break down, and Santos will win the title, turning heel on Rey. That feels like what they've been telegraphing throughout this whole thing. So we get Rey Mysterio versus Santos for the U.S. title. Dragon Lee is at ringside for this. They talked a lot about Dragon Lee. He was at ringside. They talked about him, and he had an interview backstage. He charmed the pants off of everybody on Monday night. If that was a test for Dragon Lee to see how he can fare on the main roster, motherfucker aced it. Aced it. Aced it. He is here. It really seems like, with the endorsement of Rey Mysterio, we've been wondering for the last 15 years who the next Rey is going to be. This might be it. This might for real be it this time. We've heard about other times where it might be it. It feels like WWE is as high on Dragon Lee as they have ever been on anybody. And if they are looking for a successor for Rey, a torch to be passed as the top lucha libre star in the world, they got a hell of a good one here with Dragon Lee. Comes from, kind of a good family as well. You got his brother Roosh tearing it up on the other brand. And much like Rey, it's a family. It's a wrestling family. And if that's who Rey is going to endorse as being the next top luchador to build a Hall of Fame legacy, no arguments from Greg. I'm all about that. Dragon Lee is special. Dude is special. So it was very cool to see all of that. He was at ringside for this match. Rey wound up winning clean with a crucifix, pinning Santos. I think Santos was going for a pin on him. Rey rolled him over in the crucifix, got the quick pin. Zelina Vega was very surprised. And right before we got to see, if you notice, we didn't get the handshake because we were wondering if Santos loses, is he going to snap? Is he going to attack Rey? Felt like something like that was going to happen. Rey approached him to give him the handshake to help him up, and then Street Profits showed up and attacked, beat the shit out of both of them before they could even really do the handshake. And then Lashley came out like a proud father, clapping his hands, looked very pleased with what the Street Profits did. And is that all it was? Is that all it's going to take? Was this the confirmation that now we have in fact seen the real new Street Profits, or do they still have more proving themselves to do? It feels like Lashley was very pleased with what he saw. And if this is all Lashley needs to be convinced to take these guys back under his wing, now is where we should, in theory, get new music, maybe a new vibe or look from these guys. Because still coming out to that dancing and the solo cups and that song, it's a catchy song, don't get me wrong. I shake my booty to it every day for Elizabeth, but it's not a heels song. I would rather have them just come out to Lashley's music or having something a little bit more intimidating sounding or something that suits their new heel persona better than their previous theme. So hopefully this is all part of that, and now we can really move forward with this faction, their new identity, and hopefully the faction gets a new name, Street Profits get new music, and it starts coming together. And then once the faction is solidified, maybe that's when you chuck a Bianca in there or something and really make it interesting. So we'll see. Hopefully that is the direction they're going in with all these guys. But I don't know. You look in the entire wrestling landscape throughout history. Is there three more better looking dudes than Montez, Bobby Lashley, and Dawkins? No. I mean, maybe if you had like me, and like Brad Pitt and maybe Clooney, like the three of us together, maybe. But really, there's no topping the sexiness level and factor of Lashley, Montez, and Dawkins. They look great together. They look great in suits. And hopefully, if this is going to be a Hurt Business 2.0 type of thing, it will actually be good and it won't suck. Fingers crossed. We'll see. I still think they could have kept Shelton Benjamin and made him a part of that too, but whatever. Shelton's gone now. Hopefully, he'll turn up in AEW. We had Austin Theory defeating Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes sighting on SmackDown. This is a guy that has been absent from TV so long he had time to cut his hair and grow it back. He cut that long hair off. It's already grown back. Remember that from NXT? When he got rich and got in the Dogecoin and all that stuff. All that was a lot of fun. They brought in the $1 Million Man for that. He was feuding with LA Knight. Cameron Grimes has always been extremely entertaining. They finally drafted him to the main roster, but he's not there with a gimmick. He is a guy that needs to have that charismatic type of gimmick and to do funny shit. He's just a wrestler out there trying hard, and I don't like that. He needs to be allowed to be entertaining because he is. So I don't know it's good to see him on TV, but we need him in a lot bigger doses than this. We need him to be established as a character, as somebody we see on TV regularly, not just in there to take a fucking loss to Austin goddamn Theory, which is what he did. He ate the loss to Austin. There was Grayson Waller distraction on the outside. These two guys, what are they called? The A-Town Down Under? That's what it is. Waller and Theory. They're both monumental douchebags. I mean, through the roof. So naturally, they're going to make a great team, and they're probably good together right now because Theory needs something to do other than trying to force feed him as down our throats as a top singles heel. He isn't. Nobody likes him. So this pairing with Waller is probably better for Theory, but maybe worse for Waller. Maybe Waller, has got some singles aspirations too. I don't know. In the end, it'll probably lead to a feud between the two, which could maybe make one of their careers. So we will see. But right now, I'm liking the two of them together just fine because when you put two douchebags together, then it's double douche, and that really adds to heel heat, and that can be good. Charlotte defeated Bayley in a terrible match. These two women have been in the ring together many times throughout the last decade or so. They've had way better matches than this. This was about as basic and bland of a match between the two as you can get. Charlotte won with a spear out of nowhere, pinning Bayley, getting the win. And then I think Damage Control beat down Charlotte. Asuka came out to make the save, and it felt like they were setting us up for yet another triple threat match, just like we had at SummerSlam. This time it's going to be at Fastlane, Charlotte, Asuka, and Io. And that's what we got. It was announced later on that night or early this morning that Charlotte versus Io versus Asuka for the championship is set for Fastlane. And you know what? Excuse me, because I'm about to admit I was wrong about something, so I need to take a little sip of water. Before I admit I was wrong about something, hit that thumbs up button too. Here's what I was wrong about. Charlotte. You guys know me throughout the years. It's always kind of been a theme for me to reject the status quo amongst regular wrestling fans, because once narratives start to be built, it seems like everybody quadruples down on them. Once fans decide they don't like you, they don't let up. All of a sudden, all of the ability for reasoning is out the window. Objectivity is out the window. Nothing is going to make sense anymore coming from them because they are so focused on their hate. So when it comes to, Charlotte hate, Roman Reigns hate, John Cena hate, situations like that, I'm usually on the defense of the wrestler because of the same reason I've always talked about, especially with John Cena is a great example of this, is that fans get so mad as they will take criticisms that are actually true and they actually have a point on, but they will bury it under so much uncontrolled rage and anger because managing their emotions is just something they can't do. And hate and hating that person is top priority number one. Not being objective or not trying to look at the whole situation or think big picture or think short term or think long term. No, none of that matters. It's hate first, everything else is second. And I don't like that. I reject that just on straight principle, because I think fans, some fans get carried away. One loss does not mean that you're buried, that type of shit. But that's the type of attitude and language and anger and rage that you see once fans get that stick up their ass. And so naturally, I was somebody that always kind of defended Charlotte because every time she won, she buried so-and-so. So I still stand by my thoughts on that. I don't believe Charlotte beating somebody automatically equals a burial. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. Doesn't mean it happens every time. So I'm always going to reject, fans when they have really, really aggressive anger towards one person because I know it's not rooted in anything but their own selfish rage. But with Charlotte, I am sick of her. You guys were right. I was wrong. Here I was trying to defend Charlotte. WWE wants to build her legacy. You know, there's other things in the company we can watch. We have 2 championship belts. So if you don't like Charlotte, you got a whole nother championship and a whole nother division. Charlotte did lose the title, putting over Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania in a big time match that was good, that she really worked hard in and all of that. So there's still plenty about Charlotte that I do respect. But the fact that with Vince gone, nothing seems like it's changing with her. The minute she walks in, it's like she's automatic #1 contender just because she's there. And that's generally the way it goes with top stars. You know, if Roman lost the belt, whenever Roman is not champion, he's probably going to be in the mix as a top contender the whole time. Same with John Cena, same with every top star. But with Charlotte, they're so obnoxious about it. You know, in terms of featuring her, like they don't have her do anything interesting. She's not in any fun storylines. She just comes back and inserts herself into every championship situation. And I shouldn't say she inserts herself. WWE inserts her. So I get that she's one of their top stars. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with Charlotte breaking Ric Flair's record, John Cena's record. I have no problem with Charlotte winning the most championships of any wrestler in the history of the company. I don't even care about that. All I care about is when she's on TV that I'm entertained or I enjoy what she's doing. And I rarely do. I enjoyed what she did at WrestleMania because it was a great championship match and she put somebody over. Great. But why do we need her in there? Why can't she do something else while other people are feuding with the world title and then revisit it? And I think if you did that, fans would be a little bit more accepting of Charlotte being in the world title picture if you didn't have to involve her in every championship scenario. When was the last time this woman had a feud that didn't involve the championship or didn't have the championship surrounding it in some way? Why can't you give her a great program to do that is not for the championship? And then when you reintroduce her to the championship scene, it doesn't feel like she's been there the whole time. It literally feels like she's got something in her contract, and I know she doesn't, but it feels like that, like she has something in her contract, some Hulk Hogan level of creative control that says, if I'm on television, I can only be in championship feuds, scenarios, and programs. That's it. Nothing else. And that gets annoying. And WWE's overuse and obsession of Charlotte is something that I've tried to tolerate. I've tried to talk some of you off the ledge by going fucking ape shit and ball sack nuts over a Charlotte win, losing your mind, pulling your teeth out and throwing them across the street. Shit like that. Just completely insane levels of anger. And that's why those are the type of things I always reject. I'm like, y'all need to fucking smell some fresh air, touch grass, and all those other sayings, because nobody should be this pissed over the outcome of a wrestling match. But even I have my limits. And even I have my limits of how much Charlotte I'm willing to take. And Charlotte is such a great professional wrestler with a great legacy. It sucks that she's probably going to go down and be remembered as somebody that was just on top way too much. I still think, just like Cena, I've been preaching for 10 years, all the people that hated him will come around, and by the time he goes into the WWE Hall of Fame, all the fans that were screaming for him to be executed will now respect him. I do believe that as well to a degree with Charlotte, but the more this goes on, the more it just sours the fans on her. And if I was Charlotte, I wouldn't want my legacy to be somebody that always had to be on top. You know, you want to be looked at as, you know, somebody. I'd rather be looked at as a Shawn Michaels than a Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? In terms of what you did in the ring, what you gave, that type of thing. And I'm starting to change my tune on Charlotte. I have no interest in seeing her ever at all. Now, when she comes out on TV, I'm like, ugh. Give her something interesting to do, then I'm all about it. But the fact that she's always booked in the laziest way possible. Charlotte's back, right in the title picture. Even if there's already an existing issue going on in the title scene, who cares? Let's make Charlotte a part of it. Becky and Ronda should have been the main event of WrestleMania 35. Not Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte. Pretty sure I defended Charlotte's involvement in that too. But looking back, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. So Greg is officially sick of Charlotte. You guys should probably be pretty happy to hear that. And then in the main event segment, we had John Cena, who, of course, got his ass kicked last week. LA Knight contracted COVID, got sent home. He was supposed to come out last week and announce himself as John Cena's partner. They had to delay everything 1 week. Cena was out there. He has the contract, says it's going to be a handicap match. Bloodline shows up. They attack. They get John Cena on the table, on the announce table. Solo climbs up to the top rope to give a big table splash, and that's when LA Knight crowd fucking pops. I've never heard an LA Knight pop in person. I want to. I can't wait to go to a show when he's there and he gets that pop. So he comes out, cleans house, picks up the contract, signs his name to the contract, and then John Cena, who I've always considered to be a good actor, wasn't a good actor here. He really overacted. I mean, what was he doing? He was acting as if The Rock showed up and signed his name to the sheet, or it was Stone Cold, or a fucking legend. LA Knight's great. He's over. John Cena, all he was doing is putting over this guy's popularity, but I feel like he overacted a little bit in his reaction to LA Knight showing up. And I'm just really glad that LA Knight was able to get better in 1 week's time and get on this week's SmackDown, and he was able to come out and do that final segment. Otherwise, it would have to be next week, and they would be solidifying that match like 1 day before the pay-per-view, and that would be a little bit harder to do. Now you can have a big segment next week with all of them, and that should be fun. So here's what we're looking at for Fastlane. We've got Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. I gave my thoughts on that match on Monday. Don't love it. We have Io Sky defending her championship against Charlotte and Asuka. We know that. We are probably going to have Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar teaming up to take on the Street Profits. That one's probably going to happen. That's what it feels like they set up last night. And whatever happens there will probably lead and drive more of a wedge between Rey and Santos that will eventually lead to the Santos Escobar heel turn on Rey that we're all expecting. So I feel like in that match, once it's announced, Street Profits will win. They will beat Rey and Santos, maybe with some miscommunication between Rey and Santos, an accidental 619 to Santos's face, and then he gets pinned, and now he's mad. But he's like, I'm not mad. I know it was just an accident, but I want to challenge you one more time for the championship. That's when the heel turn comes. Something like that. All I know is Santos is going to beat Rey Mysterio for that U.S. title 1,000%. And, of course, John Cena, LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. So that's 4 matches. Next week, we have 2 TVs, Raw and SmackDown, before we get to Fastlane next weekend. What else are they going to add? Is it going to be Nia Jackson, Rhea Ripley? Are we going to get that match at Fastlane, or are they holding that one off? Cody, what's going to happen there with those guys? Cody and the Judgment Day and Owens and Zayn, probably some match will happen there too, right? Or is Cody facing Dominic again? I can't remember. We'll have to see what they do. But 4 matches so far for Fastlane later on tonight, or the pre-show is probably on right now, but here in just a little while is No Mercy. We have NXT champion Carmelo Hayes defending against Ilya Dragunov. We got Becky Lynch defending against Tiffany Stratton. That's going to be an Extreme Rules match. Dominic is there defending the NXT North American Championship against Trick Williams. We got Noam Dar versus Butch in the NXT Heritage Cup match. Braun Breaker versus No Gimmicks Baron Corbin, and a couple of other matches with some other people. So that's what we got going on No Mercy tonight. Collision has Gates of Agony versus Kenny and Jericho. We got Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, and FTR taking on Ricky Starks, Big Bill, and Aussie Open in an 8-man. We got Andrade taking on Juice Robinson, who Andrade is definitely going to get revenge on Juice for Juice lifting his leg and pissing on him last week. And we've got the Best Friends versus the Kingdom. So that's the wrestling action that's coming to you here in just a little while once we sign off. But before we do, I just want to talk about a couple of those angles that we saw on Dynamite and run through the WrestleDream card and predict that. Before we do, let's cruise back to the chat, see what you guys have to say over here, and if I missed anything. Oh, really? Rollins and Gunther apparently had a dark match after SmackDown last night. That's crazy. Imperium jumped Seth, so that ended with no decision. Juliet, as Salamonster pointed out, Charlotte invoked her Charlotte in the Bank clause. I kind of said something similar to that just a minute ago, didn't I? I'm like, it seems like every time she comes back, it's just like it's in her contract. She just automatically must be in the championship picture and nothing else. It kind of is like a Money in the Bank type of deal, isn't it? It's pretty much the same thing. Good point. Well, I'm glad I'm not alone in that, I'm very tolerant. I never like to fly off the rails or get too mad about anybody's push or anybody winning too much. It's a big wrestling universe out there. If one wrestler is winning too much, I literally have 10,000 other things I can watch, that can distract me from that. But like I said, even I have my limits to what I find to be ridiculous. And I think that just the overall Charlotte use has been turning fans off for years. I've been more tolerant of it, but I've now reached my limit where I'm like, can you just do something else with her? It's not like I'm opposed to Charlotte being on TV. I'm not opposed to Charlotte winning championships. None of that bothers me. I'm opposed to Charlotte being involved in the championship scenario in every single motherfucking thing she does on TV. That's where I draw the line. I think Charlotte, if she was an angle, like think of that great little series of matches she had with Sasha Banks years ago. They traded the championship on the pay-per-view and on a Monday Night Raw. That great finish in the aisleway with like the bank statement on the guardrail and Charlotte tapping out. Give her a feud like that, but like just not for the championship. Just give her a feud against another woman who she hates, who they want to kill each other, and give the ladies, some time to have a few banger ass matches in a program. Why can't we do that? That would make me appreciate Charlotte's abilities a hell of a lot more if I see her going out there and just crushing it, in programs that don't involve championships. She doesn't always have to be involved in that. But again, I understand that she's a big star and she has to win dozens of world titles. I get it, but you can take little breaks, and I don't mean a break away from her being champion. I'm talking about a break away from her being involved in the title picture completely. Seth Rollins is like that. Look at the feud he had last year with Cody Rhodes. There was no championship on the line there. That was 3 great matches, pay-per-view matches that culminated in a Hell in a Cell match. Do that, but with Charlotte. Jade Cargill. I talked about her. Everybody's like, oh, Jade and Bianca. Jade and Charlotte. That's what I want to see. And if Charlotte were to able to do something for Jade the way Seth did for Cody, think of that exact same scenario. Charlotte, now we're nowhere near WrestleMania, so you can't really do this, but you could still do it at a Survivor Series where Charlotte's like, hey, I'm not booked for Survivor Series and I'm pissed. So I'm gonna have an open challenge or whatever the story is. Maybe Triple H says, okay, I got an opponent for you, but you're not gonna know until Survivor Series. And Charlotte's like, cool. Survivor Series, Jade is the opponent. Most fans, just like Cody, we knew it was going to be Cody and Seth, but you didn't really know until Cody showed up. So we kind of feel like it's going to be Jade. It is Jade. She has a match with Charlotte. She beats her. Then you do a rematch on pay-per-view. She beats her again. Then you do a blow-off. So you do Charlotte, Jade at Survivor Series. Jade wins. Rematch at December, whatever that pay-per-view is. Jade wins again. Blow-off at the Royal Rumble. Blow-off at the Rumble. Hell in the Cell. Last woman standing, whatever. Jade wins again. And she's not in the Rumble, so she's not going to have to go to WrestleMania to get a title shot or anything. But maybe Charlotte shows up in the Rumble and wins it. And after she puts over Jade 3 times, her reward is a championship match at WrestleMania. 2 birds, 1 stone. You keep Charlotte happy. She's got to do 3 jobs, but now she's going to get a title match. And now you've made Jade at the same time. Something like that would be better, use of Charlotte, because Charlotte, much like Seth, Seth will probably eventually one day get a victory over Cody Rhodes, I would assume. So I would think the same would be true for Charlotte and Jade. If Charlotte put her over up front, maybe get some wins on the backside of that. Something like that would be really nice. 2 seconds. Thank you for that. I feel like I'm hanging in there okay with my sniffles and my head cold, but I have to excuse myself every couple of minutes there. So, something like that I just think would be much better use of Charlotte at this stage of her career, because she's always going to be a championship contender, always. And like I said, I don't really have a problem with that. It's just the fact that she can't do anything that doesn't involve a title. That's what bothers me. And that's what I think WWE needs to get better at with Charlotte. So hopefully that's coming. Just reading a text message from work, making sure nothing's wrong there. All right. So let's talk about Dynamite. Just quickly, this past week's Dynamite, I liked the angles more than the matches. Matches were good quality matches, but nothing spectacular. I liked Takeshita and Don Callis going to Japan to assault Kota Ibushi at his dojo, hitting him in the head with a kettlebell and all that. That was good. Liked all of that. I liked the Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page contract signing. That was really well done. Hangman Swerve, telling Hangman, hey, if you were gifted a spot and you have not taken advantage of that. So if you don't want it, I'll take it type of thing. And Hangman mentioning the little black cloud comment. For the past year, I felt like there's been this black cloud hanging over my head. I wonder who he's talking about. So a little bit of a dig there. And the contract signing I really liked because it was presented as a big match, and it should be a big match. And I'm going to predict this match in a minute, but to me, there's only one outcome here for these guys in this specific match. These guys are going to have a program. They're going to wrestle probably multiple times, but in my mind, only one person can win this first match, and it ain't the Cowboy. We'll talk about that in a minute. MJF and Adam Cole. Boy, they were doing a lot on the show, a lot with these guys. Now, of course, we know about Adam Cole's injury. He came to run out and try to help MJF last week, jumped off the ledge, landed on his foot, tweaked it, limped, definitely seemed to be injured. That was concerning because they're in the middle of this great angle between these two. And if Adam Cole is seriously injured, that's really going to throw a monkey wrench in this, right? So now it's Dynamite. The first thing we get is a pre-tape, a boat trip that the two of them took out on MJF's dad's boat or whatever. They're going out in the middle of a lake. They're drinking beer, and Max is like, gets up to get another beer. You want one? And Cole's like, yeah, I'll have one. And Cole's on his crutches. And as Max is behind Cole on the boat, he starts going in his pocket and putting the ring on. And then it's like almost like Adam Cole can see it. And he's like, Max, I know that you're new to this whole friendship thing, but it's not abnormal to have more than one friend. And he's trying to coexist his friendship with Roderick Strong and MJF. Both of those two guys hate each other. And he's like, here, I thought you were going to invite me out to this boat just to put on your diamond ring and punch me in the head and throw me overboard. And as soon as he said that, MJF's like, and then he takes the ring off and puts it back in his pocket. So MJF keeps feeling like this need to attack this man for some reason, and then changes his mind. And then they're fishing, and they hook a big one. They hook a big, gigantic Captain Insano who's floating around in the lake in an inflatable duck. They catch Captain Insano. Paul White's yelling and screaming, and then they cut to the three of them sitting on the boat drinking beer. Loved that. Then we get an in-ring segment between the two of them. Adam Cole is on crutches with his foot wrapped. Britt Baker posted a picture of the foot that looked to be pretty swollen. He definitely tweaked the ankle. I don't think diving off the stage was a work. That was legit. It's really hard to fake that, or either that or Adam Cole is the best actor in the world, because you could tell when he landed, he hurt himself. So him hurting his foot or his ankle, we know that was legit. It's the seriousness of the injury that some people are still questioning. Now, Cole announced that he's sitting in the chair in the ring. MJF's with him. He announces that, unfortunately, he needs surgery on his foot, which that really sucks, because if he needs surgery, we're probably looking at early 2024 before he can come back. Now, luckily, the storyline with MJF would, in theory, allow him to still be on TV with a bad ankle, because a lot of this storyline has been stuff that hasn't occurred in the ring. The non-in-ring stuff has been the most entertaining parts of this angle. So luckily, even with a hurt foot, Adam Cole should still be able to perform some duties here in this angle if he wants to. And he says that because of this injury and the surgery, that they are going to have to relinquish their Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And it was the way that Cole was talking that was suspicious. Just the way he was delivering his lines felt kayfabe. It felt kayfabe. Now, I'm like, okay, so in my head, I'm thinking, here's best case scenario. Best case scenario is that he's not hurt, but AEW is taking his injury and using it as a way to swerve the fans for whatever reason. However, it looks like he probably still is legitimately hurt. So anyway, we should go in order here. Cole says that he's injured, he needs surgery, they have to relinquish the titles. MJF says, no, we're not doing that. He says, it's my fault that you're injured to begin with. You came out to help me. I owe this to you. He's going to face the righteous in a handicap match. I'm going to win these belts, or I'm going to win the match, and I'm going to hold these belts, and these belts and myself will be here for you when you get back. And that's when Roderick Strong comes out screaming, Adam, the Kingdom roll his ass out there. And he says, Adam, I need you more than ever. It's an emergency. Like he's got to take a shit in school. It's an emergency, he says. I need you now more than ever. MJF calls him a simp and then tells Adam Cole, go deal with your boy. You have my word that I will be here when you get back. And Cole kind of gets up on his crutches and he says, I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. So he leaves to go tend to the Kingdom. And that's when Jay White comes out. Jay White, out of nowhere, had no idea. They haven't even teased anything between MJF and Jay White yet. Jay White comes out. We get a little promo battle between the two of them that lasted almost 10 minutes. This entire in-ring segment, I think, went close to 25 minutes. So that's a long time. So promo battle ensues. MJF finally gets pissed, just says hey, he's ready to fight right there, takes off his shirt, ready to throw down, and Jay retreats. So that's probably maybe going to be our full gear match between those two. And you also have to wonder about where Adam Cole fits into this, and who is going to turn on who. Both guys I love what AEW is doing here, because what's great about this is that you still don't know. They're not telegraphing this at all. In my mind, it could still be either guy turning on the other. I see a whole lot of evidence that tells me that Adam Cole is the one that's manipulating MJF. Adam Cole is going to give MJF the ultimate dose of karma for the years of manipulation and the people that MJF has taken advantage of and used as a stepping stone in the throats that he stepped on to get to the success that he has had, and his distrusting nature. And maybe Adam Cole is thinking the only way to beat someone this conniving is to be even more conniving than him. And maybe setting in motion this master plan that he knows is going to take multiple months. This is some Ocean's 11 shit here of manipulation that's going to take months and months to slowly chip away at MJF, to get him to let his guard down, to get him to let you in, and to finally be vulnerable and have a friend. And as soon as you see that MJF makes that personal change within himself, that's when you turn on him and you ruin him, and you make him question himself, his ability, his thoughts, his emotions, all of that stuff. You're going to mentally and emotionally break the man. And maybe that's what Adam Cole feels is the only way, the only thing that can beat MJF is to beat him at his own game, and to beat him at his own game so badly that the fans actually have sympathy for him. MJF is a babyface, and he's over. And I want to put him on the list because it's a short list of world champions throughout history. We could probably think of maybe 5 to 10 examples of this max, where somebody has been world champion and turned heel or face in the middle of it. Randy Savage did it. CM Punk did it. Danielson, I don't think he did it. Can't remember if he did it or not. That eco-friendly title era there. And there might be other examples, but MJF is another guy on that Randy Savage and CM Punk list through that during the course of their world title run, they switch from heel to babyface, and you don't see that very often throughout history. It's happened a few times, but not a ton of times, and it's super rare. So I like that because he's not like a half-ass babyface. Fans truly like him. He truly is making the fans believe that he cares about Adam Cole, even when he reaches in his his trunks to get out the diamond ring and struggle with hitting him. It's like a Goodwill Hunting type of thing. You know, he's a good person, but he's got bad tendencies, and he just needs to be loved. He just needs to be hugged. And until he makes that full transition, there's always going to be a chance that he's going to revert back to this past behavior or let things and things that happened to him in his previous life affect and dictate the type of person he is today. And that struggle is really interesting, because if it does turn out that Cole is manipulating him, what a master plan. You know, if there is some sort of a segment or a moment, and unfortunately now with the injury, we don't know, where Cole beats MJF and wins the championship by turning heel, you know, and having MJF broken and humiliated and having him now have to deal with that, that could be great, compelling television, great character work. Think about the growth that the MJF character will see if a situation like that happens and he's able to build himself back up and re-chase after the title and potentially win it again. You know, think about the journey that would take him on and how that would really make him like kind of a versatile performer. He's not just one way. He's not just good at just being this way. He can also be this way. And that's when you get the best professional wrestlers. You know, a lot of wrestlers people feel are better as either a heel or a face. You know, it's rare to find someone that's equally good at both. Hogan was like that. Hogan was equally good at being a heel and a face. Roman's like that. Hogan even more so, because I don't think Roman as a babyface ever reached Hogan's popularity. But Hogan's probably the best example of that, I think. Edge is another good one. You know, Rock could be heel and her face. You know, Austin even could. But MJF, you know, this could really, really, really help his character in the long run. So after he has the little promo battle with Jay White leaves and all of that, we get the little ending part of the match. We get the cliffhanger at the end of Dynamite. I love cliffhangers. And the cliffhanger of Dynamite, in the back area, Jay White is getting jumped by like 4 masked men. Very reminiscent of Retribution. I'm not sure one of those little fuckers was Bisquick or whatever. Maybe one of them was. And they're beating up Jay White. And then the masked man looks at the camera at the end, and it's that same mask that MJF wore when he came back and from his hiatus and all that mask that he wears, whatever it's called. The person was in that. But if you look at the person in the mask, like the body size of them, that was not MJF. And I don't even think the person who's under the mask in that shot might even be the person who's ultimately going to be revealed. But if this is another whodunit, I love whodunits. Whodunits are the best. Who's in the limo? That type of thing. I've always liked that in wrestling. So now you add this. We're already not sure about if MJF is going to turn on Cole, if Cole is going to turn on MJF. We don't even know the status of Cole's injury, how much of a work and how much of a shoot it is. Now, Fightful Select had a really good write-up on this where they said that if this is a work, it's being extremely well protected because people in the company believe he's injured. His own girlfriend believes he's injured. The fact that maybe the surgery hasn't taken place yet is what made fans skeptical about this. But maybe he's just waiting for the right time to have that surgery. But there is still a little bit of question as to whether or not it is legit. Fightful Select seems to believe that it is a legit injury, and that sucks. If there was ever a time I've wanted Fightful Select to be wrong, it's this, because I don't want Adam Cole to be injured. I'm hoping this is some sort of really, really well executed work. I doubt that it is. Sounds like the injury is legitimate, but the way Adam Cole was speaking in the ring had a very kayfabe nature to it, and I just really, really wasn't sure. But it sounds like, by all accounts, the behind-the-scenes belief is that surgery is in fact required and will happen, and that sucks. So we already had that to think about. Who's turning on who? Is the injury even legit or not? We don't even know. Now we got this masked man angle, and think about all the people it could be. There was 4 people there total, right? Beating down Jay White. So is this Adam Cole trying to frame MJF? Was this gimmick created over the last week to protect Adam Cole from his injury? Like, okay. So we speculated that maybe the injury is a work, but it's not. Maybe the injury is completely legit, but then on TV, Cole pretends that the injury was just a ruse. You know what I mean? So if you have this masked man gimmick last for 4 months and we don't get the reveal for 4 months or whatever it is, long enough for Adam Cole to recover from his injury. And then all the while on TV, Cole is making appearances on TV with his crutches, or maybe he's not on TV at all, home resting his injury, but the masked man keeps making an appearance over and over. Somebody else under the mask, obviously. And then when Cole heals up, it's time for the big masked man reveal, and it turns out to be Adam Cole. And then he says, I faked my injury. I was never injured. It was me under the mask the whole time, running around my foot. It would be a good way to like have him be legitly injured, but pretend the injury is fake. You know, because you could just have him off TV certain weeks, and then other weeks just have him on TV on crutches, and then maybe he's in the back saying goodbye to MJF. All right, me and Britt are going to go back to the hotel room, little hug, you know, and then the car drives away. Adam Cole and Britt Baker are gone. And then later on in the night, MJF is attacked by the masked man again, you know, and do all these things that make it turn out to be Adam Cole under the mask. And then if it is under the mask, who's under the other 3 masks? What about Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly? Kyle O'Reilly, what's his injury status? What's his recovery time? Do we know? He'd be a perfect one. Roderick, you know, joining with Adam Cole and then maybe signing Bobby Fish back. Or maybe it's just the Kingdom. It's probably the Kingdom, to be honest. So that's one big option, is that Adam Cole will turn out to be the guy under the mask. Or maybe a Kyle O'Reilly is under the mask. Or maybe it is a Bobby Fish. Or perhaps it's MJF himself. Because it really feels like AEW wants the fans to know that the person under the mask is not MJF. But what if it is? What if it turns out to be his big master plan? And he's got an even bigger master plan to counter Cole's master plan. Who knows? But it's a good cliffhanger. And I think maybe they could have developed this angle to buy time with the Adam Cole turn by having Adam Cole nursing the injury, but having somebody else under the mask, basically playing the role of a not injured Adam Cole. And then when the reveal happens, Cole can claim that he just faked the injury. He faked the crutches, faked the surgery, faked all of it, just to manipulate MJF. That could happen. So Dynamite was good. Who do you guys think the masked man is going to be? The devil mask. There you go. Thanks, Rottweiler. The devil mask. I was having trouble thinking of the word devil. Denny, you haven't heard news about Kyle O'Reilly in years. He hasn't been gone that long, has he? But yeah, he had the very serious neck injury, right? Surgery, he had that. Feels like it's been a good year now. I feel like O'Reilly might be close to returning, but I don't know. MJF in the mask would be way too predictable. Yeah, but I feel like it could still be anybody. MJF in the mask would kind of have higher power vibes, you know? It was me all along. I think Adam Cole really fits now, especially if he is going to miss time with the injury. You can have the masked man running amok, and then when the reveal happens, Cole can just claim that he was faking the injury the whole time, and it's been him under the mask this whole time. That could be what they do. But again, something like that, I think, I'm not a genius wrestling fan. So if I can think of this shit, somebody else can think of it too. And by the time we get to that, if this is something that's going to take 3 to 4 months of recovery time for Adam Cole, I think a lot of fans are probably going to have it sniffed out by then. And then when you do the reveal, it might not be that much of a surprise. So, and how does Jay White even fit into all this? It was Jay White who they attacked, so Jay White and MJF might be your full gear match. And we'll have to see what Edge does tomorrow at WrestleDream. Let's predict WrestleDream tomorrow night. This looks like a good one. The card is pretty amazing. I don't know how good my predictions are going to be because a lot of these matches were kind of hard to predict, and that's what I like. I don't want to go perfect in my predictions. Yeah, sure, you can brag about it on Twitter. Who cares? If I go perfect in my predictions, that means I know what's going to happen. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I want to be surprised. So here's what we got. Let's start with Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Yuta. Boy, that's a tough one, isn't it? Well, let's see. If we just we think about, okay, no, we don't have to think about it at all. Ricky Starks will win that match. Absolutely no way he's going to drop 2 matches back-to-back to Danielson and then lose here. Ricky will get back to his winning ways, and that match might even open the show. I didn't even see who's on the 0 hour. Anybody want to hit me with 0 hour shit in the chat, just in case? By the way, tomorrow's live reaction, tomorrow's watch along of WrestleDream, will not include the 0 hour. We're going to come up about 15 minutes before the main show starts. So just keep that in mind. And for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the podcast, earlier today when we went live, I just wasn't paying attention and I brain farted, and I went live for about a minute on tomorrow's stream by accident. I hit tomorrow's stream live, so I had to delete it. The link will be reposted tonight for WrestleDream tomorrow. So join us tomorrow. I will watch the pay-per-view and let you guys know what's going on in my head as I'm watching it. That's going to be a lot of fun. So Ricky Starks over Wheeler Yuta. Chris Statlander defending her TBS title against Julia Hart. Oh, Julia Hart's starting to turn some heads, isn't she? She has quietly gone, 22-0 or something like that over the past several months. She has got one of the best entrances in the wrestling business. She had a great little vignette that they ran on Dynamite this week. She's young as hell. She's like 21 years old. She's improving a lot. Absolutely gorgeous moonsault that I didn't even know she could do. And she's turning a lot of heads, and a lot of people are taking notice, and I'm a big Julia Hart fan. However, as fast as it seems like she's rising here, I don't know if I'm putting the TBS title on her. So I'm going to predict Statlander to retain. Julia maybe has a really hard-fought match. Maybe she comes very close to winning the title, ultimately does not. But I think it could be a career-building match for her, even in a loss, especially if her outing is good. If she impresses and this match is good, then the sky's going to be the limit for her. So will she win the TBS title? She might, but I'm predicting her not to. MJF is taking on the Righteous in a handicap match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Is MJF going to find a replacement partner? Can he get Roddy or one of the Kingdom members to join him on Adam Cole's suggestion? Perhaps, but I'd rather see MJF go this match 2-on-1. He's the world champion. He's a top star in the company. I cannot see either member, Dutch or Vincent, pinning MJF. There's no scenario in my head where that's something that happens. He's your world champion. Even if you have a fuck ton of interference, I am not pinning MJF. No. I think MJF should beat both of them. He should kangaroo kick one of them straight fucking into the crowd in the fourth row, and then just hit a single double clothesline or something onto the other guy and pin him. Just kick Vincent into the fourth row and clothesline the other one and beat them both. MJF is your world champion. He should have a strong outing here. And I think MJF should not only win this match, I think MJF should win this match clean. Yes, nothing against the Righteous, but this is the world champion. This is AEW's world champion. He should be better than most tag team wrestlers, at least in the company, in terms of toughness and shit like that. MJF should win this match. He should win it for Cole. He should use his friendship with Adam Cole as motivation to beat both of these guys by himself. That way he can keep these tag team championships for him and his friend. And imagine if that continues for multiple months and MJF has to keep going into handicap match situations. So in that sense, it can't last forever. If Cole is really going to be out for 4 months, what if he's out for 6 months? We don't know how long it's going to be. We have no idea. If surgery is involved, this isn't like a 3-week turnaround. You're talking months minimum here. So MJF eventually is going to have to cough up these Ring of Honor tags unless they do a deal on TV where after he wins this match, he's like, I cannot sustain this or whatever. Maybe Adam Cole's like, MJF, you're world champion. I don't want you jeopardizing your championship run just so you can defend these tag team titles. I talked to Tony Khan and he's agreed to let me pick a replacement for you. And maybe they do that. And then MJF can lose the Ring of Honor tags because whoever his partner is, maybe like a Roderick Strong, he'll take the pin. And maybe Cole can maybe there would be a scenario on TV where he's like, MJF, I appreciate you defending against the Righteous and beating them by yourself, but I don't want to see that dude do that to you. Plus, you mean a lot to me. Roderick Strong also means a lot to me. I've spoken to Tony Khan. He's allowed Roderick Strong to take my place as one half co-holder of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And I would like the two of you to use this opportunity to become friends. I love the two of you so much. It breaks my heart that you guys hate each other. Maybe this is a way that we can all get along together. And I know you, and I know you. I care about both of you. I think if you came together and worked as a team, you could grow to respect each other. It would be important to me. And he's got them both in the ring, talking to both of them. You both care about me, right? You both love me. Well, then consider this. It would be important to me if the two of you would do this for me. I'm asking you as your friend, please do this for me. And then maybe they agree to it. And then that all weaves, that all weaves into whatever they're doing here with the mask reveal and whatever manipulation is happening on Adam Cole or MJF's side. I could definitely see a scenario like that happening on TV. But after MJF wins this first one by himself, then Cole comes out. I don't want to see you risk your career like that. Let's have well, I guess Roderick's dealing with the neck thing, so I guess he can't really step in. Maybe the neck magically heals or something, and then he's able to join MJF that way, something like that. But either way, I think MJF is going to retain the Ring of Honor tags at WrestleDream. Let's see what do I have next. Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. Here's a good one. This is a big one. Swerve. It has to be Swerve. I'm a big Hangman Page fan. He's one of my favorites in the company, but Swerve needs this win. Swerve needs this win big time. And Hangman is going to get a win in this angle. This better not be a one-off. There's no way you're putting two talents like Swerve and Hangman in a program and be one and done. Not happening. So whatever happens, whoever wins this one will probably lose the next one. But I definitely believe Swerve has to be the one to win first. That's crucial because he's the one that called Hangman out. Hangman's got something to prove. Swerve beats him. Plus, Seattle's Swerve's hometown. This has to be Swerve's match to win. Plus, I think I'm picking the rest of the Elite to win, so they can't sweep. So I'm going to go Swerve 100% in this first match. I just hope the match delivers. I feel like it will. The match is going to be very, very good. Swerve had a hell of an outing at All In that coffin match. He needs a win here. He deserves one. So I'm going Swerve over Hangman Page. We've got the Young Bucks. This is a crazy match. 4-way tag match here. It's Young Bucks, who are already co-holders of the Trios titles already. Young Bucks versus the Guns versus the Lucha Brothers versus Orange Cassidy and Hook. Those two together. The winner of this match gets a future AEW tag team title shot. This one's hard to pick. The Young Bucks just got a title shot at All In, and they lost. Plus, they're currently Trios champions, so I don't see it being them. Lucha Brothers have had a lot of shots too. Phoenix is currently the international champion. Orange Cassidy and Hook seems like a favorite to me because they're both fan favorites. OC lost the title recently. Maybe Tony Khan wants to keep him relevant while also keeping something significant for Hook to do. So putting them together, giving them a crack at the tag team titles maybe is attractive to Tony Khan. But the only team here that really makes a ton of sense to me is the Ass Boys. I think it's got to be the Ass Boys. They've got a lot of momentum. They've been impressing me. I'm going with the Guns to win that and get the future AEW tag team title shot. Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. dream match. Danielson. Going Danielson on that one. Not much to say there. Other than I'm really excited to see that match, but I think you got to go Danielson in that one. We've got Sammy Guevara, Takeshita, and Will Ospreay against Jericho, Kenny, and Kota Ibushi. Like I said, they jumped Ibushi at his dojo. I'm going to go with the baby faces. Plus Takeshita got 2 big wins at All In and All Out. Ospreay beat Jericho at All In. I feel like Jericho, Kenny, and Ibushi will get the victory here over the Callis family. Eddie Kingston defending both of his championships against Katsuyori Shibata. I'm going Eddie to win that and retain both of his titles. I can't see him dropping that Ring of Honor title right after he lost it. No way. So Eddie will win that. Pretty confident there. FTR defending their AEW tag team titles against Aussie Open, who lost their Ring of Honor tags to MJF and Adam Cole. You know what we could really use in AEW? We could use more belts. We need more belts in this company. That's what we need. But no, I'm picking FTR there to retain. I think FTR should continue their run for a little while longer. And then in the main event, Darby Allin challenging Christian for the TNT Championship. This could go either way. It all hinges on Edge. Let's look at what the Twitter poll says. I'm going to predict this match based on what the Twitter poll says. Will Edge help Christian or screw him? 58% of you says he will help Christian. 41% says he will screw him. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if he's going to help Christian or not. I'm not sure. But I'm going to agree with you. That's what you guys said, so I'm going to agree with you. I predict that Christian will retain over Darby Allin. Darby Allin begins his training for his Mount Everest climb next month. So Darby is training now to climb Mount Everest in like April, and he's going to start training for that next month. So maybe that would get in the way of him being a champion right now. There's a lot of story with Christian and a potential Luchasaurus turn and Edge coming in. So I feel like it probably does make the most sense to keep the title on Christian right now. And then Christian can maybe kick Luchasaurus to the curb. You know, if Edge appears and Christian doesn't know it, and he sees Adam and he gives him this big hug, and then he shoves Luchasaurus out of the way. I don't need you anymore. I got my brother here. Maybe something like that. Like we said earlier, we talked a lot about Edge. What's his name going to be? What music is he going to use? Are we going to see any of that at WrestleDream, or is he just going to jump over the barricade and hit the ring? No music, no entrance, no nothing. We save that and get it on Dynamite. That might be the case. I would maybe do it that way. That way it gives the fans something to tune into. I would have Edge, if he does interfere, don't come out to music or anything like that. Hop the barricade. Don't even know what the announcers are going to call him. The announcers can just be like, you know who that is? We know who that is. And maybe you leave it on a cliffhanger. And then Tony Khan announces that on Wednesday, we hear from Adam Copeland, and he's going to make his first appearance. And maybe that's where he debuts whatever music he's going to use, that type of thing. So Christian to retain over Darby Allin, Adam Copeland to have some sort of presence in the match, either to help Christian, screw him, align with him, turn on him, whatever. He's going to be there. I'm confident that he's going to be there. I feel like it would be a letdown if he was not there, especially the fact that AEW has gone out of their way to put this match in the main event. If Adam Copeland was not coming in, this match would not be my main event. Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. probably would be. So, yeah, I think it's happening. I think Edge is coming in, and we're going to see it tomorrow. And that's going to be interesting. If not, then I guess we stand corrected. We were wrong, but I am rarely let down by my gut instinct, and my gut instinct tells me we're going to see Mr. Copeland tomorrow for WrestleDream. All right, in 3 minutes, No Mercy starts, and so does Collision, so I need to get out of here because you guys have got other wrestling to watch. I thought I saw an RIP. Nobody died, did they? No. Okay. I did see the David Finlay rumors about the mask too. That would work, but no, I don't want it to be David Finlay. I want it to be a much bigger deal than that. So yeah, I want you guys to enjoy No Mercy tonight. Enjoy Collision. If anything crazy happens on either show, I would love an update over on Twitter. Tag me, let me know what happened. That would be great. The plan is tomorrow I will be up here to live react to WrestleDream. So later on tonight, I will post a link to that since I accidentally fucked the link up today. So that will be posted. You guys can hang out with me tomorrow. We will watch WrestleDream together. I will give you guys a play-by-play reaction of what's going on. And tomorrow will be fun. And it might turn out to be a really fun night in the biz if we get the debut that we think we're going to get. I'm looking forward to it. Good to see you, Chiro. Just wanted to shout you out real quick since I didn't see you earlier. Thank you for being here. Very awesome to see you as always. And hopefully I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think I did. Right on. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate your patience with my head cold today. And I appreciate your patience with everything. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your Saturday night. And I will catch you tomorrow for WrestleDream.